John DeSando.
Classics, let's go to the movies and share some popcorn, soda pop with our friends. Turn off our cell phones and get away. Night or day, it's John DeSando on the radio. We'll watch the credits from up high and low.
Cinema Classics is produced and hosted by John DeSando. Listen to the shows Thursdays at 8:01 p.m. on WCBE 90.5 FM. And listen to the shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm John DeSando,
I'm Audrey Harkonen.
and this is Cinema Classics. Now look, we're looking at one of the great classics, Citizen Kane.
Greatest
Yes,
classic.
thank you. I had
You don't
had to
stumble
test
over
you,
that.
right? I just had to test you to see. The American Film Institute had threatened to pull it off of its annual list of the best movies ever because it occupies the top spot. They were going to bounce it
They were going to bounce it.
in order to let Godfather take the top
No,
spot.
no, no, no.
Well, anyway, the BBC revamped their list. They put Vertigo
Oh,
on the top rather than Citizen Kane. But look at this is the elephant right here,
Yeah.
Citizen Kane. So when you're talking about it, you're talking about one that deserves a spot at the top of the list. And I think, for me, now that I know that Audrey is favorable to the film, I can tell you, before I ask her about it, I can tell you that I believe it is the most influential movie ever made.
I agree with you.
Thank you. It is not the one. It's not going to be your favorite movie, right?
That you can easily say it isn't. And as I talked to other people, they were saying, well, you know, I kind of got bored with it or something. But oh no, there's so much more to it than just entertainment.
All right. So as you look at it, what makes it great for you personally?
Well, it incorporates all of these elements we start seeing in the golden age of Hollywood. We start seeing things like the groundbreaking cinematography, modern narrative, the revolutionary sound and editing that you start seeing in about 1939. And it just continues and culminates all in this one film. The subject matter too, all of those things. You've seen pieces and parts of that. They all come together on a no budget. RKO gives the keys to virtually, this is his first directorial debut, and he just knocks it out of the park.
So Orson Welles was really a theater guy.
Very much
Yes.
a theater, and then a radio guy.
And a radio guy, and he made a big splash with a version of War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
And it was so good on the radio
Yes.
that people even started leaving for Canada.
That's right. That's right. It was a little town in Jersey or something
Yes, it
that
was
was
in
supposed
Jersey,
to be,
yeah.
that was being attacked, and it was so well done
Yeah.
that they were going to flee.
It was a version of H.G. Wells's
Yes.
War of the Worlds, and it's coming off just so realistically on the radio that people were scared.
Yes,
And people
yes.
were shooting down water towers because they couldn't even see it.
Right, and that's when Hollywood said, "We got to have this guy. We got to have this guy."
So you were so right. They gave him carte blanche
Right.
to make a movie that I think it was going to be a version of Heart of Darkness.
I do recall that was
Yeah.
what it was supposed to be.
Right.
And him and Mankiewicz got together and said, "Forget this. We're doing something else," and they did.
So they put this together, and it wasn't an immediate success.
No, it was not.
Yeah.
Well, critically, it was a success, but box office was,
Which I can see.
Yeah,
I understand.
yeah. And it wasn't until some years later when you realize it incorporated all of these great things, and told this story in a way that we hadn't seen narratives before.
Oh yeah. Well, Orson Welles was a genius, even though he couldn't stop eating. He was,
And he couldn't stop talking, and he
Right,
couldn't
right.
stop drinking, so,
however, he did have girdles in this movie.
yeah.
But I don't think they were effective years later
No,
for
no,
his
no.
life. But anyway, so Wells comes as a young man, and
25 years old he does this.
So he's just pissing off everybody.
But yes,
You know,
yes.
just getting. I mean, this is the biggest. He said about this is the biggest playground a young man ever had when he came to Hollywood and RKO and so on. And he went over budget and all this stuff. But he was creating what I believe the most influential movie ever made, for the reasons that you're talking about,
Yeah.
for all of the innovations, and not any of them like the deep focus, for instance. Is that some people were using that already,
Yes,
but
but
nobody was putting it together.
Right, all of these pieces and parts that helped to really show and tell a story in using all of these elements.
Oh, yeah. And so, for his Citizen Kane, he pulled together people he had been with in radio.
Right.
Like
Yeah, Ray Collins, Agnes Moorehead, Everett Sloan, Paul Stewart. That was the
That's
crew
right.
from Mercury.
You're right, the Mercury Theater.
Mercury Theater
Yeah.
of the Air or something like that.
Joe Cotton among those?
Well, yes, he was, but he was also in film already.
Yes, right.
Yes,
that's
he
right.
was
So he was-
already in film.
well-
These people I just mentioned, I don't believe they had been in film yet.
Right, so they were radio.
They're radio people.
And I think the logo was RKO Radio Pictures somehow, I think that's what, so it has some connection there.
Yes,
But he was a wunderkind,
yes.
and they put a lot of faith in him. And for those of us who are looking years later, 90 years,
Yes.
80, 90 years, it seems like a slam dunk.
Right,
But people at that point weren't able to put together all the genius that he did.
right.
And he was arrogant, but he was also very bright. We might talk a little bit about some of the other things that he did.
Yes, yes.
But right now it's Citizen Kane. Audrey, the story.
The story, okay.
Just for our audience.
Okay, for the two people out there that don't know the story. of
You're wrong.
Citizen Kane.
Two of your friends who might not, but most of your friends and most of my friends have seen it.
Yes,
And
yes,
if
at
they-
least once.
Right, and if they wanted to be our friend, they really had to see it.
You got it, yeah. So it's the story of a fictitious media mogul by the name of Charles Foster Kane. He's died alone in his grand palace, and all of the news outlets of the day, back in the 40s, paper and newsreels and radio are reporting and investigating his final word, his deathbed word, which is Rosebud. So during the course of the investigation, they begin to illuminate, they examine the life and the legacy, and it is revealed, all of the parts of his life, his humble beginnings, his inheritance of great wealth, and then moving forward to buying a publishing empire. So that's kind of the crux of this. There's also his marriages, his child, his affairs, his dabbling in politics. It was very unsuccessful. And is just then his slow withdrawal from public life.
Yeah, and
So that's the story of
Good,
this guy.
thank you. Yeah, this is, if you take the meta look, this is the story of the American dream gone bad. And there are also elements, parts of this that remind me of dictatorships.
Yes,
And
yes.
I begin to make relevance to the contemporary world.
Yes.
And let's say Vladimir Putin would be my choice. I'll be careful about any other, ascribing anything else.
Yes,
Because,
But at the time, it was William Randolph Hearst.
thank you, the real, yes.
Yes, the real media mogul at the time, who would not allow the film to be advertised or even discussed in
And
any
theaters that
newspapers.
he owned, he wouldn't let them be
No,
shown.
no.
So this is one of the reasons it wasn't as big at the Oscars because of
Right.
Hearst's presence.
Yes, yes,
And everybody knew it, and he knew it.
yeah.
And Welsh, you gotta give it to him. Only a young man of 25
Would
would
say,
have the chutzpah.
Yeah.
Say,
forget you.
are you depicting William Randolph Hearst? Oh, no, what makes you say that?
Yeah.
But so much of this is Hearst, and Hearst newspapers may still exist today. I mean, I grew up on Hearst newspapers,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I know that it was powerful,
Yeah.
and he was. And I would like to say, Audrey, and I don't think you've been to, maybe the best tourist attraction I know in this country.
And that's Hearst Castle.
Yes, it is.
I have not been inside.
I knew it. See, I knew that.
I've not been inside. I have been past. I've been in the neighborhood, but no, I've missed out.
So on the West Coast, somewhere between LA and
Yes.
San Francisco,
Up there.
right,
Yeah.
is the palace, and it's called Xanadu.
Xanadu, right.
And it's unfinished. Huge as it is, and William Randolph Hearst, had on his permanent staff the most prominent female architect in the world. who
I
was
do
from
recall
France.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
now that
and
you
they were
mention it.
constantly changing this place.
Yes.
So it was indeed a palace. And today I think if you go up on the tours, you can see some of the animals who are the descendants.
Yes. The zoo that he had.
The world's
Yes.
biggest zoo. Private zoo, biggest private zoo. That man was obviously flagrant in his spending. And if you went to visit him, you had your own place, probably your own little bungalow on his property.
Right. Yes.
But you had to be on the list at the bottom of the hill. If
Yeah.
you were on the list, you were out.
Yeah.
And so he had, I don't think he had Roosevelt, but he had almost everybody who was famous, including Chaplin,
Mhm.
Johnny Weissmuller.
Oh yeah.
Changed
So
his
the
food.
photos that you see of that era, that all of the famous and infamous were visiting him. Yeah.
Audrey Harkonen, we do have much more to say, and I know I'll be getting calls right away saying, DeSando, why don't you shut up and let her talk? All right, so if you want to, come to WCBE.org and the podcast experience, and since we're at Cinema Classics, this is going to be its descendant, which is called Double Tape.
Yes.
So, Audrey Harkonen, what do you recommend about Citizen Kane?
It's a must. It's an absolute.
Why though? Why?
It is a teaching moment.
Yes.
It's a lesson, and it's a lesson in film history and storytelling, at its greatest.
And it does so well for film because it is, as you say, primarily storytelling. It's
Yes.
a story of a human being. It's something we can all identify with, the dangers of
Yes.
pride,
Ego.
acquisition, and acquisition.
Yeah.
But beyond that, all of its effects, its acting, everything is so superb. But be warned, it won't be your favorite movie.
Right.
What do you want? It's maybe the best movie ever made. You think that's going to be easy? No, it is not. I'm John DeSando.
Cinema, 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 cinema. Classics, let's go to the movies and share some popcorn, soda pop.